Cricbuzz chatter at the end of day one of this fourth test match. Still in Ahmedabad, still at the Motera. Slightly different kind of surface though. It's going to start getting trickier as we go along. While India has a slight upper hand, I thought England didn't bat as well as they could after winning a really good toss. But 205 all out, managed to knock one batsman, 24 for 1. India might be ahead on points, but no teams run away with the game at the end of day one, which is nice to know because we are supposed to play 5 days. But then I thought a very good half century, and Dan Lawrence, much like Zach Crawley in the first innings in the previous game, looked very impressive in that stay of 46. At the end of the day, from the former England captain, whose record for maximum number of wins might still stay intact if India continue to go ahead, is alongside us. Michael, 205. My first thought was, what a good toss to win, because those were pretty good batting conditions.
Yeah, I mean, from an England perspective, it's the most disappointing day of the tour for me because Joe Root won a good toss. He's packed his batting in the side. I thought they might go with that formation. Dan Lawrence played nicely. Ben Stokes played nicely. But to only get 205, where realistically, when you look at the last 2 Test match wickets, this one was flat. It did a little bit. There was a little bit of movement there for Siraj. I thought he was magnificent from an Indian perspective. There wasn't the spin that we've seen over the course of the last 2 weeks. It started to spin more and more towards the end of the day. So England had a great chance of posting a real big score in the first innings, 350, 400, and they haven't capitalised. And that's given India a great opportunity. You mentioned that the pitch will probably deteriorate, and that's probably going to be the case on days 2, 3, and 4 if it lasts that long. For England only to have got 205, it's a really disappointing day because some of the dismissals were weak. No real mindset of looking to bat a long period of time. It looked like they were panicking and wanting to get after the Indian bowlers, where on a pitch like that, when you get an opportunity to bat on a decent surface, you just bat and try and bat the day out, bat a bit more into day 2, and then you get your 350, 400, and then you ask India to bat when the pitches start to do a few tricks. So the way that England have batted shouldn't really be against what we say about the way Indian bowled. I thought India today were magnificent with the ball. I thought they really showed their skill, their discipline, their mindset, and they got into the England players' mindset as well. So a really good day for India, a poor day for England.
Michael, I once did an interview with MS, and then when I started doing interviews with MS, I realized you only needed to ask one question because he said everything in that one answer. You summarized the whole day's play already. Cricbuzz chatter, but I'm going to delve a little deeper into some aspects. I'm looking at England's follow wickets. First of all, you win the toss and bat 30 for 3. You cannot 30 went to a spinner who wasn't turning the ball. But even after that, the partnerships as they built up, and I'm looking on the app at the moment, from 30 for 3 to that partnership's 48, then to 121, then to 166. So there were 3 partnerships in the 40s where batsmen got in, they could bat, and then didn't make it a 70, 80 or 100-run partnership. A couple of things about that. I thought, as you said, Siraj bowled beautifully either side of 3 wickets. I sensed that a couple of England batsmen were predetermined. Someone like Crawley used his feet well and said, right, I'm going to hit someone out of the line. Did you sense that as well with the way they were going to play this game?
Yeah, I mean, you look at England against the better teams over the last 5 years, and quite consistently they've been 30 for 3 because they've not played the situation well enough. My belief is your top 3 in Test match cricket is your foundation. It's your calming influence that whatever the conditions are, those top 3 are there to read the situation, read the conditions, send a calmness back to the dressing room, and quite regularly now from an England perspective, it's been that they've sent a bit of panic through to that middle order that the pitch might be doing something that it's not. You look at Dom Sibley, the technical side of Dom Sibley, very poor. To have a gate that wide to the ball coming back in, that's a real concern from his perspective. Then Zach Crawley danced down a few times, brilliant from Harsha Bhogle, realised and just tossed it up a little bit slower and just kind of pulled the string a little bit back towards him, and he went for one down the ground. He was out in a similar fashion in Sri Lanka to the left-arm spinner Mbandelia, and it's not worked again. 7 times he's been out in 2021 to left-arm spin at an average of just over 5. Not good enough from Zach Crawley. The skipper, Joe Root, for the first time in 2021, he just looked distracted. You know, I just felt like he didn't quite look like he was just out there facing the ball. I felt there was a lot going on in that mind. Siraj ball beautifully, got the ball nipping back, got that top edge pull shot down to the boundary. I don't know. It's hard being an England captain, being an international captain when there's so much going on. That the last week it'll have been selection, the pitch, rotation, trying to find his rhythm again with the bat in hand. For the first time in 21, the skipper didn't quite look like he was on it. And for England not to have had a 50-run partnership, Harsha, on that kind of wicket, when you've packed your batting, and for them to only have got 205, they'll be in that hotel room tonight, or I would hope they're in the hotel room tonight, kind of looking at each other going, you know what, that's a massive opportunity missed, a real opportunity, knowing that the pitch will deteriorate, to only have got 205. It's simply, I mean, we can make as many excuses up as you want, young players, spinning wickets, bio bubbles, rotation. You can make as many excuses as you want. Today was not good enough from the England team.
No, the best teams don't do that. Any goals are the same for everybody. I thought you made a very valid point about Joe Root, because I look back at a couple of examples. I think Tendulkar in Australia in 1990, he was the captain and the lead batsman. I remember Nasser Hussain saying during the World Cup of 2003, when they had Mugabe and Zimbabwe more on mind than the World Cup itself. So that can happen sometimes to captains. I thought you made an excellent point about Siraj as well. Head of Umesh Yadav, who's got an excellent record in India, but there's something very wholehearted about him. He runs in, he'll bowl a bouncer, he'll swing the ball away, he'll nip it back in. I think the good cricketer here. But also, as the game went along, Michael, I thought the pitch started showing signs of doing a little bit. It started to turn a little bit. Started challenging both edges of the bat, which leads me to suggest that maybe by end of day 2, this track will start to show different.
Yeah, and it may do, and it may be that 205 becomes competitive, but it still doesn't, take me away from what England had to bat on today, which was a decent pitch. And as you say, it's probably the last 20 overs of the day that it started to do a few more things. But for 60, 65 overs, that pitch didn't do a great deal. And if you want to be a high-class Test match team, which every team sets out to be, and England are trying to become one, you should be able to bat 90 overs on that given service when you've packed your batting. You should be able to bat 110, 120 overs. Now, if India do that and bat 110, 120 overs, they will get 300. They'll have a 100-run lead, and it's going to be very, very difficult for England. You look at the last 6 innings in this Test series, they've only passed 200 once, and that was today, and they only passed it by 5 runs. So not many teams better that in the second innings when it's doing a lot more. So India will know that if they get 300, 350, it'll be a long way to winning the Test match. If they can bat the 90 overs on day 2, I think they'll have won the series. I think they'll win the game. England have a small chance in the morning. You get a couple of early ones. You get Virat Kohli out early, and obviously the likes of Ajinkya Rahane not in great form or not got a huge amount of runs. And there's not that many runs down that bottom end other than Ashwin. So there's a little glimmer for England. But I just think that the way that they batted on the first day last week, 112 all out, that wasn't good enough. Even though the pitch did a lot more, it still wasn't good enough. And I just wonder in a couple of days' time, Harsha, we'll be talking about that 205. That was really the chance England had on a good surface to go and post 300 plus, and they weren't good enough to take it.
Yeah, I thought we saw a slightly different dimension to Akshar Patel as well, not just firing it in at that pace. The ball that got Lawrence out. I think Lawrence advertised the fact that he was going to go and play the big shot, but held that back a little bit, got that ball. So different. We saw a little different side to Akshar Patel. I mean, he must think this test cricket is the easiest thing he's ever been part of. He's had to fight his way through first class, through India A cricket, but he's never got the kind of wickets he's getting in Test match cricket.
Yeah, no, I think the reason why he's successful is he's got such a repetitive action. It's an action that it looks to me like there's not a lot can go wrong with it. Very simple. He's got lovely release out the fingers. He's got a good skill level, so he varies his kind of release points. He'll skid one on and then he'll get a little bit of overspin. on another one. I think he stares at the batter to see what they're doing. So when Dan Lawrence down, I'll just toss it a bit wider. I think he's a smart cricketer. India are a good team. I mean, in these conditions, they're an outstanding cricket team. And I think, Indian cricket, they've got such a squad of players now that they can choose upon. You look at Shami's not played, Bumrah's not with the squad, Yadav's not played, and then Siraj comes in and does tremendous. He's a lionheart. He is he's a bowler and a personality and a character that I would love in my team. He looks like he'll just run through a brick wall for any captain. Doesn't matter if it's Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane in Brisbane. He looks like he's got that temperament and that kind of in-your-face mentality that I think fast bowlers need to have. I think they need to get into the space of the batting unit just to kind of put a bit of fear and doubt into those batsmen's minds, and that's exactly what he does. I mean, to bowl in India on those kind of wickets, you need to have like a strong mentality, and that's what he's got.
Okay, time to head off for Michael into the hotspot as we look at India's batting reply. Put on your hat as a technical analyst, Michael. And Shubman Gill, what do you see there?
I just feel like he gets that left foot over to the off stump just a little bit too often, and he plants it, and then he's playing across the front pad. His head falls over to the offside just slightly, not a huge amount. LBW on a consistent basis now. Jimmy Anderson on a pitch in Ahmedabad where the ball's not doing a great deal. If he's going to have success, he's going to have to know where the off stump is a little bit more consistently. And when he comes to face the juke ball in English conditions in a few months' time, when the ball will be moving, he'll have to sharpen up that technical side, and he'll get questioned and answered and asked by Jimmy Anderson on a more consistent basis than any other bowler in the world, because you know where it's going to be. He shouldn't be missing those balls like he missed today. That was a straight ball that he missed. His technique should be looking after him on that occasion.
I mean, KP seemed to suggest that he's a little slow in what he does. Tom Moody seemed to suggest he's going to have a great career down the order. Maybe it's a little early. We'll wait and see how he goes in the second innings. Okay, time for fast forward. I foresee, Michael, at some point, India taking the fight to England spinners and testing Bess and Lee.
Yeah, I just look at Pujara. He's due, and he's such a good player. His spin. England will know that he's the kind of player that very rarely throughout a whole series he doesn't get that 100. I just wonder if day two we'll be seeing a Pujara masterclass against the spinning ball. If he gets in and he's there after an hour, I think Pujara will get 100. Big pressure on Don Bess back into the side. Saw one over from him. He bowled okay, a couple of loose balls. And Jack Leach, obviously, going to be relying on him to be the mainstay of the England attack. But I just look at that batting lineup with Axar Patel coming in at number 9, Washington Sundar at number 8, R. Ashwin at 7. Surely one of those Indian players gets 100 on a day two Ahmedabad wicket. With what we've seen, it's not going to do too much. It'll do a little bit, and I'm pretty sure 1 or 2. If not, we'll get 100 tomorrow.
Okay, we'll wait and see. Thank you very much to Michael Vaughan as well. Use their batting, back their side with batting. That didn't come off. Now the weaker element, which is the bowling, has got to deliver. We'll wait and see. We'll be with you too once again on Cricbuzz Chatter with Michael Vaughan.